Michael slammed his fist on my dining table so hard the silverware rattled. "Dad, it's simple. You've got the money. Just pay off Emma's mortgage." I stared at him, coffee still steaming in my hand, stunned at the audacity. His wife sat across from him, lips curled into that satisfied little smirk she always wore when she thought she was about to win. Michael looked nervous, but the words came out sharp, practiced, like Emma had fed them to him. Emma deserves security. A stable life. You've been holding back on us for years. You can clear her mortgage in one check, so why won't you? I could still see the boy he used to be, the one who begged me to push him higher on the swings, who cried when he skinned his knee, who once clung to me as if the world would end without his father's arms. That boy was gone. In his place sat a man who saw me as nothing more than a bank account. "You want me to hand over $600,000 because you married her?" My voice was steady, but inside I felt something collapse. "It's not a handout," Emma snapped. "It's your duty. You've spoiled Michael his whole life. Why stop now? Pay it off or you'll regret it." The air in the room thickened. I could hear the refrigerator hum, the faint tick of the clock on the wall. Every memory I had of raising Michael flashed before me. The double shifts I worked so he could play baseball, the college tuition I covered when his grades weren't strong enough for scholarships, the down payment for his first car when his credit was too weak. My sacrifices were written into the walls of this house, and now he was asking for more. "No," I said, just one word. "Final." Emma leaned back, smile widening. "Then we'll take it." 2 weeks later, I opened the door to a process server. Papers in hand. My son and his wife were suing me for $600,000. The accusations read like poison. They claimed I had promised to cover their mortgage, that I'd manipulated their finances, that Emma had suffered emotional distress because I refused to support them. Every page was a lie, twisted and sharpened into a knife meant to gut me. My own neighbors whispered. People at church avoided my gaze. A father being sued by his own son, it spread faster than truth ever could. But what Emma didn't know was that she'd chosen the wrong battlefield. I had spent 40 years in construction and property management. I knew contracts, debt structures, and the way a flimsy story collapsed when someone pressed too hard. I hired a lawyer, not just any lawyer, but the one Emma's family had tried to cheat in a property deal years earlier. He still held the receipts, and he owed me a favor. The courthouse smelled of disinfectant and stale coffee. Michael sat across the aisle, shoulders tight, avoiding my eyes. Emma clutched his arm like a prize she wasn't letting go of. When the judge called her name, she performed. Tears rolling down her cheeks, voice trembling as she claimed I had led them to believe I'd cover the house, that they were victims of my emotional manipulation. She dabbed her eyes with a silk handkerchief, her voice cracking at all the right moments. Michael never looked at me, but then it was our turn. My lawyer walked forward with a folder so thick it looked like a brick. He opened it slowly, deliberately, and began. First came the credit card statements, Emma's gambling debts. $72,000 spread across 3 different cards. Then the falsified bank records she had submitted to the court, each inconsistency highlighted, each forged number exposed. Finally, the recording. The room went silent as Emma's own voice played over the speakers. "If your father doesn't pay, we'll sue him until he's broke. It's easy money." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Emma's face drained of color, her hand slipping from Michael's arm. She turned to him, desperate, but he stared at the floor. He looked like a man realizing he'd handed his life over to the wrong person. Their entire case collapsed in less than an hour. But my lawyer wasn't finished. He filed for malicious prosecution. The judge didn't just dismiss their claim. He ordered Emma and Michael to pay my legal fees, $185,000. When the ruling was read, Emma screamed. Michael buried his face in his hands. I didn't smile, didn't gloat. I just sat there, stone still, while their world caved in. I could have left it there, but they hadn't come after my money. They'd come after my name, my dignity. That demanded more. Public filings told me the truth Emma had been desperate to hide. She had refinanced her mortgage 3 times, each time cashing out equity for handbags, vacations, and half-baked investments that went nowhere. She wasn't drowning in bills. She was gambling with her future. I sent the records, along with the court documents showing her falsifications, to her employer. 2 months later, she was quietly let go. Michael tried to hold everything together, but his credit was poisoned. Loan applications rejected, cards canceled, collectors circling like vultures. The mortgage she had wanted me to pay slipped into foreclosure within 6 months. I stood at the back of the auction house when strangers bid on their granite countertops and vaulted ceilings. Emma's mascara streaked down her face as she whispered furiously into Michael's ear. He looked hollow, broken. When the gavel came down, the house was gone. Their dream, their scheme, shattered in front of the entire town. Months later, my phone rang. Michael's voice was quiet, cracked. "Dad, can we meet? Just you and me. No lawyers, no Emma. I just want to talk." For the first time in years, I heard my son's voice again. Not the entitled man Emma had molded, but the boy who used to beg me to play catch until the sun went down. I agreed. We met at a small diner outside town. Michael sat hunched over a cup of coffee, eyes tired, older than his years. He looked up at me, and for a second I thought there was hope. He opened his mouth to speak, but before the words came, the door swung open. Emma stormed in, face twisted with fury. "You think you can crawl back to him now? After everything? He owes us, Michael. Don't you dare apologize." Michael froze. His shoulders sagged. He looked between us, torn in half, but in the end, he stood. He followed her out like a man walking behind his jailer. The bell above the diner door jingled as it closed, leaving me alone with my coffee. That was the last time I ever saw him. Now he lives in a rented apartment, his credit ruined, Emma working nights at a diner. And me? I still sit at my oak table, the same one he once spilled milk on, drinking my coffee in peace. Justice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It was final, absolute.
My grandpa's worst really happened. I believe him. If you want more true tales stories like this, hit subscribe.